you can't qualify for unemployment anymore.
Interesting.
At all.
Terrible. Let's see. Just tell me if something pops up. Okay. Did the live recording thing pop up on your screen?
Live streaming?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. Perfect. Okay. We're trying to improve ourselves. Okay. You don't need the religious school stuff anymore. Okay. Good. Very nice. And I can get rid of that. Oh, hello.
Hello, Rabbi.
Okay.
Good morning. All waking up.
Good morning.
Good morning. We still have a couple minutes. Here, Ed and Ellen, I'll change your names. Here.
Hey, Rabbi.
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. I know this is very different than meeting in person, but how did you find it? Is this easier for you or more difficult?
This
particular class and all. Yeah.
So is it easier to not leave my house and put pants on? Sure, that's easier. Is it easier to teach this way? No, it is not easier to teach this way.
Okay.
To not be able to see people's face. I am a purely reactive person. I interact, but it's a reaction interact. Like my services are based around what is in front of me, right? If I see people responding to something, I do more of it. If I see people not responding, I change on the fly. I will do that when I teach as well. If I see nodding of the heads, all the things I can't see when I'm teaching right now. So a lot of the things that make me who I am. Yes, I'm good at the technology. Fine. Yeah. And I can make sure that I don't lose anyone, but I am a much better teacher in person than not to toot my own horn, but I'm better in person. So not that I give out hugs during class, but there is a certain interaction that, and yes, everyone has a front row seat this way, but not everyone can see. If I want to do two things at the same time, that's almost impossible. And if I have the screen behind me, I have to have the screen in front of me. So it's easier for me to teach this way, but it's not, I don't think it's better quality teaching. And yes, more people show up this way too. Because you don't have to put pants on. So there's good things. But it's boy, I can't wait till this is over. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's ending anytime soon. I mean, well, the vaccine's around, but now there's like a new strain in Europe or something. So I don't even want to go near there. So I'm just going to, make the most of it. That's what I like to think we're doing right now. We're making the most of it.
Okay. I asked that question, just to see what your feelings were about it and what the rest of the class was. But, so it's obvious you would prefer to be teaching in person.
Yeah. So there are certain things that make sense to not go back. And maybe this will too, because, again, getting in the car and driving, and a lot of you don't live next door to the synagogue. I always think of Evening Minyan. Evening Minyan is 15 minutes long. You ever try to drive down Cochrane Road at 6 o'clock?
Yeah.
So we used to have to call Hannah Balk and say, Hannah, could you make a minyan? This is like 10 years ago. And we would get a hold of her, and it would take her 30 minutes to get to the synagogue. And then we would have a 15-minute service. And then it would take you 30 minutes to just pull out of our parking lot, right? To get onto Cochrane Road. So I think to myself, you're driving an hour for 15-minute services. No wonder why we would get 5 people. So there are certain things that make more sense, or board meetings, or, these meetings at night, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, make more sense. This class, I don't know. I think I'd rather do it in person if I could pull it off. I will, by the way, when we go back to the real world, there will always have to be now a virtual component. So you think about when I used to teach, I still had a computer in front of me, right? It's different in services, but in this class, I have a computer in front of me. I have the screen behind me. So I could easily do some type of hybrid, as the schools call it, where if you can't make it, or you're on vacation and want to
see this?
I could probably,
Sure,
Carol, there he goes. So you see, I can't mute people live. these are all the questions we're all asking that we see coming. So here we go. Let me just let me get everything set up. We're going to get started. It's very exciting. There are more people showing up today to this class than they came for 4th through 7th grade. Yeah, they're all tired of coming to those poor kids. I mean, they're on Zoom 8 hours a day, 5 straight days. I can't imagine why, it's not easy to show up on Sunday or after school. Here we go. Okay, we're going to get started. I'm going to be, I hate doing it. You see, and this is the part, Ed. I hate sharing the screen because now I'm going to lose you. All right. So you get the choice, but I don't. So here it goes. Sharing the screen. Okay. Jewish Pittsburgh History 101. Share sound. Why not? Optimize for video clip. Fine, even though we're not sharing a video clip. And now you can see my screen. But I still want to see some of you. Okay, I figured this out. Let's see, participants. Here we go. I need to see show video panel. There it is. Give me one. So there you are. And then I change it. Someone even taught me how to do this, but I forgot. All right, here we go. I'm just going to make it a little bigger. And I can now see, how many people can I see? I can see 10. Okay, and we're going to get started here. You do have the ability to unmute yourselves. Remember, I can't see everyone. So if you're raising your hand or going like this, it doesn't mean I can see you. I can see myself, and I can see about 7 squares. We know there's more than 7. You can see the screen. Give me a thumbs up. You can see Pittsburgh Jewish History 101. The funny thing is I made it only one column because I used to put the video screen on the side here. Now for me, it's on the top. So these are, it's not as centered. Okay.
Right.
So
there's a black square
on the top,
the third of the screen down.
Oh, wait,
all the way across.
Okay. So it's so interesting. Do you see it moving? Did it just move?
Yes.
Yeah, it moved.
Yes. So what that is that is my video screen, so I can see your faces. So the question about that black box, that annoying black box, is, do you still see Pittsburgh Jewish History 101 below it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's another secret. When you are on and someone shares a screen, right? So all of a sudden you got this big box in you. Usually there's going to be like a side. Most of your settings should be side by side. Like, do you still see some faces maybe on your side? Okay,
Yeah.
not everyone. It's a setting. You would have to find, like, on the top where, sometimes it says exit or gallery or speaker. One of them might say side by side view. Here's the secret. If you get to side by side, if the people who shook their head yes, if you take your cursor to the middle of the 2 screens, you can make the thing, you can make the people bigger. Yeah,
Pretty cool.
So I was in this thing with like some famous speaker, and I wanted to see the speaker more than his screen, because sometimes these people share the smallest screens.
Now I've got 10 squares.
Right.
That is cool.
Yes. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so we're gonna get started. But yes, that is what you do when someone's messing with your screen too much. You can always make it smaller. Yes, they can control the share screen. Here it goes. We're gonna get started. I don't know if we have 1.5 hours of material, because I'll explain. I have less material starting today. Pittsburgh Jewish History 101 Adult Ed. Last month was November 22nd. What did we do last month? We did rabbis and synagogues. I definitely am a little biased. I focus on rabbis and synagogues a little more than most people. So we have Rabbi Samuel Goldenson of Rodef Shalom. This was last month. Rabbi Goodman Rose of Beth Shalom. We went to the Orthodox, B'nai Amunah in 1930, Polat Tzedek in 1929, Chafetz Chaim in 1932, the Third Orthodox Synagogue. We were moving to Squirrel Hill. Torah Chaim went to Negley. We learned about the Pittsburgher Rebbe, which I never knew existed, who moved to Israel, and they started a dynasty in Israel, a Pittsburgh dynasty. Rabbi Joseph Leifer and Kahal Hasidim, who moved to Oakland. We started, and then last month, we did the new institutions from 1900 to 1940. Montefiore Hospital, the Jewish Home for the Aged, which we actually were the last time we met. The week before was closing up. I think it's done on January 20th. Rest in peace. And today, that's a quick review. Today we move to Sunday, December 20th, 10:30 a.m., 10:37 a.m. We continue with Jewish institutions. All right. And you see where we're at. Okay, let me just do one more thing. I'm hearing a lot of stuff, and let me see if I can help us out here. Wait 1 second. Oh, there's my meeting. Give me a second. I'm going to help you. And then I'll explain. Okay. So what was happening there is we have a couple people, so you can't just blame we usually just blame one person the whole time. But there are a couple people who are watching on two different devices, like a television and a phone, two phones. And if you unmute one of them, we start hearing the feedback. And so that's what that was. But I controlled it. Don't worry. I won't publicly embarrass you. All right, here it goes. That's what we do in services. Here we go. We're going to get started. This is today, and we start with the Irene Kaufman settlement. You've heard of Irene Kaufman. You might have heard of EKC. Let's go to the beginning. Once upon a time. Okay, here we go. This is a sit back moment. Okay, page 261. Okay, here we go. The Irene Kaufman settlement. Let me get some more light here. I'm ready. This is not on the paper. The third new Jewish institution, the Irene Kaufman settlement, developed from two 19th century projects, which we learned about. The Russian school we learned about, and the Columbian Council settlement house. Those two combined to form the Irene Kaufman settlement. In 1887, Rabbi Lippman Mayer had, by request, begun sponsoring lectures for recent Jewish immigrants. It was always about immigrants and getting them caught up in the world. He soon realized that they had a more basic need in America. And in 1890, he founded the Russian school, for which 3 medical students were hired to teach immigrant men to read and write English. Very hard to move into a country and not know the language. Initially in the basement of Rodef Shalom, the classes were moved to a building on Fifth Avenue a year later when 110 pupils were enrolled. Marilyn Epstein wrote in the Israelite, the newspaper, that these pupils were orderly and respectful, a bright contrast to many of our American pupils who do not know the meaning of decorum and respect in a classroom. Oh yeah, Jewish kids are the best. Let's see if I can help that out. I don't know how you're doing that. Okay, here it goes. So that is beyond Richard. I don't know how you're doing it. Oh, that's annotate. Here, wait, let me see if I can turn annotate off. So that's so funny. I don't know how to annotate. Let me see. Disable annotation for others. There you go. Don't worry, now you can keep playing. All right. That is so funny. I taught you something and you just taught me something. You could write on my screen. Did you? Are you seeing that come up there when it was coming up? Yes, I disabled it. I learned quickly. Okay, here it goes. Back to the next chapter. In 1899, the women of the Columbian Council chapter of the National Council of Jewish Women accepted Rabbi Mayer's suggestion to merge the Russian school into their settlement house. So now you got education and you got a roof over your head. Evening classes for the young immigrant men and women who worked during the day opened on October 2nd, 1899. Before long, many Jews requesting admission had been to be turned down because there was not enough room. They ran out of room. A large structure at 1835 Center Avenue, therefore, was converted into a settlement house in 1900. 58 volunteer teachers, 58 volunteer teachers, sometimes tutoring their pupils individually, instructed in typing and shorthand, penmanship, history, and literature. For beginners in English, Harper's First Reader, I remember Harper's First Reader, and Borland's First Lessons in Language were the textbooks. Almost done. After 2 months, only English was spoken in class. Oh, I didn't like that when they did that to me. And the textbooks were changed to an English translation of the Old Testament. Interesting. They used the Old Testament translation to teach because almost every language had an Old Testament. We saw that. Anyone who took my history class, not a Pittsburgh, if you remember, oh God, please don't tell me I'm going to forget his name while I'm talking. Oh yes, I'm going to remember it. Okay, Mendelssohn. Thank you, Moses Mendelssohn, one of the modern philosophy. Moses Mendelssohn. What he did was to bring the German Jews who only spoke Yiddish into German culture. When we left the ghetto, he gave them a Bible that went from Yiddish to German. Since they knew the Bible, they could go from using the Bible was a technique to teach language to a group of people who came from somewhere else. It was a common Bible, right? So the Bible, it's not surprising. An English translation of the Old Testament, Simple Histories of Russia and America, a spelling book, and Maxwell's first book in English. 4 months later, the classes were reduced to 12 to 15 pupils, and Charles Lamb's essays and Arnold and Gilbert's Third Reader were 2 of the textbooks. The classes in English seemed to be the only ones of their kind in this city of thousands of immigrants, the Jewish Criterion commented. Free evening classes for immigrants did not begin in the Pittsburgh public schools until 1906. Okay, so we have the beginning of the Irene Kaufman settlement. It was the Russian school meeting the Columbian Council settlement, and now we have a place where you got immigrants, you got English, and you got getting people onto their feet. So we move to Barbara Burston. Okay, a little from Barbara Burston's view. Okay, Barbara Burston. Wasn't she great? She knows how to use that Zoom. She looked good, sounded good. I don't love the breakout rooms, but she did great. Oh, yeah, here it goes. At the same time, got it. Okay, her paragraphs are a little longer because she gives good word pictures. At the same time that the Y, she was on the YMHA, Young Men's Hebrew Association, like the YMCA. At the same time the Y was establishing its own new space, the Irene Kaufman Settlement was expanding. The IKS, Irene Kaufman Settlement, had been founded in 1895 by women of what was later to be called the Pittsburgh chapter of the National Council of Jewish Women, NCJW. In 1910, Henry Kaufman, as in Kaufman's, one of the 4 original brothers who founded Kaufman's department store, donated $200,000. In 1910, that was a lot of money. Now that's 1 year of college. To the original settlement, renaming it in his daughter's memory, Irene Kaufman, his daughter's memory. Then in 1920, on the occasion of the 25th anniversary of the settlement, Kaufman gave another $250,000, and on the 30th anniversary of the settlement in 1925, Kaufman donated his share of a piece of downtown property worth $750,000. So it wasn't in only name only, he gave a lot of money. To honor Kaufman for his great largesse, the Pittsburgh City Council passed a resolution thanking him for his remarkable philanthropic statesmanship, praising the work done by the settlement. Uncle Henry, as in Henry Kaufman, Uncle Henry, as he affectionately was called in a speech at the annual meeting of the IKS, said, "You know how close to my heart is the Irene Kaufman Settlement, IKS. Since the day this neighborhood house has borne the name of my beloved daughter, no request has gone unheeded. I have been interested not only because of the name of the settlement, but because of the purposes and ideals for which it was founded and the high character of the work which the Irene Kaufman Settlement has done in its doing. May the Irene Kaufman Settlement continue to influence those who enter its doors as members or neighbors, and those who serve here as volunteers, as well as those who give as contributors toward the highest expression of being good persons, good neighbors, and good citizens." So this was not just a Jewish thing. This was the city took pride in the IKS, the Irene Kaufman Settlement. One more smaller paragraph. While the Y clientele was middle-class Jews living in some areas of the While the Y clientele was middle-class Jews living in some of the areas of the second settlement after the exodus from the Hill and Allegheny City, North Shore, the Irene Kaufman Settlement, on the other hand, continued to provide all manner of services and activities for the poorer immigrant Jews and their children still living on the Hill. So the Y was more middle class, let's hang out. I remember as a kid, we used to go to the racquetball club. I don't know if everyone had, that was very popular in the 70s, right? Yeah, all the Jews had racquetball clubs. Now you don't see as much. But so the Y was middle class, but when we had poorer immigrant Jews, that's when the IKS came in. In 1927, the Pittsburgh Federation of Jewish Philanthropies, we're going to talk about that, approved a significant expansion of the IKS at its site on Center Avenue on the Hill. A new $625,000 building was opened in 1929, funded in large part by Henry Kaufman. The building included a large auditorium seating over 600 people, an up-to-date gym, an enlarged musical school, art school, craft spaces, a new boys' recreation room, a young men's social room, a playground, and a new children's milk well. While the first building of the IKS funded by Kaufman was in memory of his daughter Irene, the auditorium of the new building was dedicated to the memory of his wife Teresa, who had died in 1916. So there is Feldman's view. That is Barbara Burston's view of Irene Kaufman. And then last month we started getting into this Feldman, Burston, and then the Rao. So here comes the Rao. Okay. Now this, I might have to actually do something different. Tell me that's small. Yeah, that got really small for you, or probably for me too. Okay, now you probably don't even see what I'm saying. Here it goes. Wait. Now I'm moving that black box that you saw. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. And you probably don't even see what I'm saying. Here we go. Do you see anything? Nothing changed? Good. I knew it. New share. Got it. Got it. Got it. And just a lot of buttons to press, but I'm getting there. There. Okay. And let me make your.
You got it now, Rabbi.
Thank you. And I gotta make.
Yeah. There you go.
There it goes. I know. I had to move your faces off it. Okay. There we go. You can see that probably not well. Don't worry. I read everything. All right. So here it goes. So what's going on, just to catch you up from last month, we're catching up to the 1920s. Today, when we get to today's topic, if we get today's topic, we are going to hit really the whole 1920s. So if we got to the end of my piece of paper, we would get to 1929 today. So we're kind of hitting decades. World War II is coming. So here it goes. 1911. Let's catch up to all these institutions, and then you'll see the pictures better. I'll make them bigger. In 1911, let's see if there's anything new in this. In 1909, the members of the Columbian Council approached Henry Kaufman and his wife Teresa, requesting funds for a larger professionally staffed settlement house. Since in 1896, the Columbian Council had operated a volunteer-run facility that offered educational and recreational activities to Jewish immigrants living in Pittsburgh's Hill District. As the number of Jewish immigrants arriving in Pittsburgh increased, programs offered by the council school and the settlement were more heavily used. The small building was soon overcrowded, and a professional staff was needed to meet the demands of the school's expanding programs. Oh, it's not that long. In memory of their daughter Irene, the Kaufmans donated $150,000. We said it, known as IKS. The building became the center of neighborhood life in the Hill. We're going to look at the pictures. Immigrant services, healthcare programs, Americanization, and enrichment causes. Okay. From its last paragraph, from its founding, IKS served all who lived in the Hill District, including non-Jewish immigrants. I think that's really important, and African Americans who had begun settling there in the 1920s. By the end of World War II, there were few Jews left in the Hill District as the Jewish population moved to Squirrel Hill and East End neighborhoods. In 1948, IKS began offering services to the Jewish community in those areas as the Irene Kaufman Center, IKC. You're getting closer. The IKS building in the Hill District was renamed the Hill House, and its administration was passed on to a non-Jewish organization. In order to offer services more efficiently, the IKC and Young Men, YWHA, was located on Belfield Avenue in Oakland, merged in 1960 to form the YIKC, the Y and the IKC, which was named the Jewish Community Center in 1974. And we're not in 1970 yet. So here we go. Let me give you some pictures. Okay. Now the pictures, I actually do think, except they're hard to see. Let me see if I can make it a little smaller, just so you can see it all. You can actually see those pictures. That's what we learned. Okay. So here it goes. 20 pictures. This is 1931. The swim carnival at IKS. Any of you in there? You would be, it's at 69. That's 89 years old. And these look like teenagers or maybe more. Okay, swim carnival. Next, we have 1920, the Irene Kaufman settlement visiting nurse and the patient in the Hill District. So again, they have a settlement house, but they leave because some people can't make it out. So they visit, so it's all right, beautiful. Next, 1921, evening classes for immigrants at the Irene Kaufman Settlement House, right? A big part of what it was there for. All right. Let me just help out that sound. Mute. Good. Take your time. Good. Good. All right. Next. 1920, children play a game on the rooftop playground at the Hill House. All right. Very cool. All right. Next. 1944, students at the IKS music program. All right. And notice, not that we're going to make stereotypes, but they might not all be Jews. Remember, they serve the community. All right. Next, 1935, student at the IKS art school. That looks like a 1935 picture. Throughout the 1930s, many art classes were taught by Samuel Rosenberg, a Pittsburgh artist whose painting on the light in the Hill District earned him national recognition. Pretty cool. All right. You get better quality pictures too. 1927, children participate in a balloon race at a community picnic. All right. They look like they're having fun. Next, art students, 1930. Okay. I'll go a little faster now. Yep. Same about Rosenberg. Okay. Next, 1924, the Better Baby Contest. Okay. You actually judged babies. That is not a good way a rabbi could keep a job. 1,000 babies later. Okay. They had 1,000 babies in later years. Okay. That's a lot of babies. All right. What's that? 1939, the Irene Kaufman Settlement Championship basketball sweater. We used to be good at basketball. All right. Good. Okay. Next. There it is. 1900. There's Kaufman's. Wait, that's Kaufman department store. All right. So that is not the Irene. That's the Kaufman department store in 1900. All right. Important for IKS, but not IKS. 1935, there's Henry Kaufman distributing free milk to children at the Irene Kaufman Settlement Milk Well. That's what that whole milk well, he's going to give out milk, Henry Kaufman. All right, pretty cool. Cool guy. 1911, Irene Kaufman Settlement, a program for children suffering from tuberculosis. Oh, wow. Irene Kaufman Settlement's rooftop open air school. Why? It was a program for children suffering from tuberculosis. They had to have open air, and so they had an open air school. 1911. Amazing. All right. What pictures will they show of us in 2020? Here it is, 1911. There it is, the Settlement House. The Irene Kaufman Settlement House located on Center Avenue in Pittsburgh's Hill District in 1911. That's what it looked like. Can you imagine? There's a lot of people there, but what a building. I just want a gorgeous building on the top of a hill, right? I mean, talk about the center of the world. It's gorgeous. Okay, a boxing match. Yeah, we used to do like boxing too. Boxing match, 1936. All right, good. We had some famous Jewish boxers. Baseball game, 1936. Fine. Okay, 4 more pictures. Doctor performs wellness checkup for an infant at IKS's Better Baby Conference. They like babies. I think we've had 3 new babies at Bethel in last week. Okay, here, the Children's Theater of Irene Kaufman Settlements performs The Forest Ring in 1935. Okay, and 2 more pictures. Children perform the Fashion Dance Review in 1936. Cute. Okay, I don't think they're wearing costumes. And next, 1931, new immigrants learn English to become familiar with American culture and classes offered the Irene Kaufman Settlement in 1931. Pretty cool. Cool place. I mean, it's not at the tip of our tongues, but really changed who we are as a Pittsburgh Jewish community, right? Bringing immigrants in. Okay, into the fold. Let's go back to the piece of paper, even though mostly we're out of the paper. And let me put my show video panel so I can see someone. You're going to give me the thumbs up, and I know it's working. Thank you. Okay, so if we are going to do the Irene Kaufman Settlement, we have to move into Camp Emma Farm. Because now when I say Irene Kaufman Settlement or Irene Kaufman Center. Yeah, a lot of people hear EKC instead of IKC, and it's not a coincidence. Camp Emma Farm, right? When I moved here, I always said EKC, and some people who've been around for a few years would say, "You mean Camp Emma Farm?" Right? So, anyone here go to Camp Emma Farm? It's Shelley. Okay, I don't remember. I only can see like 4 pictures now, but I saw Shelley's hand raised.
I think anyone here is too young to have actually gone to Emma Farm. My mother went there.
Okay. Your mother went there. Very good.
I'm not too young. I'm not too young. I went to Emma Farm, and if you could take your camera where the IKS was and go across the street, that was Milt Wolfstad's shoe store.
Oh.
Everyone in the city bought there.
Okay. Very cool.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, here we go. We are going here. Let me help you out. I can fix this myself. Let's see. Participants, mute all. And you did it yourselves anyway. You guys are so good at this stuff. Okay, here it goes. More Camp Emma Farm. Let's start with Feldman. We're about to say goodbye to Feldman. We're at the end of his book. He didn't write a second one. Here it goes. 265. Here we go. But he's been very helpful. Camp Emma Farm. Not that bad. Here it goes. The department store Kaufman's contributed to many charitable projects in memory of his wife Emma, who had recently died. Isaac Kaufman, that's not the same as Henry Kaufman. Isaac Kaufman provided $25,000 for a clinic at the Western University of Pennsylvania Medical School. That's Pitt. He was also the principal benefactor in 1908 for Camp Emma Farm, named in her honor. So, to people today, everyone thinks there's like one Kaufman, right? There's Kaufman brothers, and it wasn't just one was philanthropic. This is Isaac Kaufman. Okay, opened in 1909, short, with a capacity for 125 children at one time. The camp was situated in Harmerville, 15 miles northeast of Pittsburgh, and in truth was a farm. An artesian well and spring supplied its drinking water. A head farmer cared for a few horses and cows and a flock of chickens and raised vegetables and fruits such as peaches. Campers at the lunch tables enjoyed many foods grown on the site of the farm. Sidney Teller acted as executive director of both the Irene Kaufman Settlement and Camp Emma Farm. So he was the director of both IKS and Camp Emma Farm after 1916. And his staff at the settlement enrolled children in Pittsburgh for camp. So there was a connection, different brothers did, but different. Okay, so a little more about Emma Farm, Camp Emma Farm. Okay. One page. Books are falling apart. And, it's only one paragraph. Good. The Emma Farm Association this is Barbara, was another agency in the 1920s that boasted a new facility costing about $110,000 and was the product of the Kaufman family charitable endeavors. In 1908, Isaac and Morris Kaufman, 2 of the 4 founding brothers of the department store, along with various family members, established Emma Farm Camp. It was named after Isaac's first wife, who had died in 1894 when Isaac Kaufman was in his early 40s. The purpose of the camp was to provide summertime recreation to the poorer children from the hill. Ironically, now you got to be rich to go to camp. In 1922, a new camp near Harmony, Pennsylvania, Harmerville, was launched with 8 cottages this is a new one, in Harmony, and with 8 cottages that could accommodate 230 people. So
that is not correct.
That is okay. Tell me, because
and Harmony are 2 very different places.
Thank you. So tell me, where's Harmerville and where's Harmony? Do you know?
Yeah,
Harmony is north, up 19 north.
Okay.
Yes, it's near Zelienople.
Oh, okay. So that's Harmony.
That's where I went to camp.
Okay, so Harmony opens up in 1922 or something, and Harmerville is where?
Harmerville is
22.
No, Harmerville is
past Monroeville.
Harmerville is right near Fox Chapel.
Okay.
It's out past Monroeville.
those two things are not the
Not
same.
Harmerville.
Yeah.
Harmony is past Monroeville.
Yeah,
Right.
Harmerville is right near Fox Chapel.
yeah,
That
but
was
that's,
I worked there for 30 years.
But we are going to all agree that it's not the same place.
right.
One is more northish and one's more eastish. Northish and eastish. But Shelley, you said you worked there?
No,
I
I
went
worked
there.
in Springdale, which is a town right next to Harmerville.
And wait, who did I hear? Did I just hear Shirley?
Yeah, I went to Emma Farm, but not the milk one, not the original one. It was
Not,
still
not the
called
Harmerville. You went to the Harmony one.
It was the Harmony one.
And Harvey, did you go there?
Harmony one.
You
Yeah,
went to
I
Harmony.
went to Harmony.
Okay, because you're all too young. Okay, here it goes. We're going to continue. Let's give the Emma Farm camp from Rao. Here we go. Control. And then I see it, but you don't. But oh, look at that. Screen share is paused. Very interesting. Rao. Not much, so don't worry. Oh, very small. I'm going to make that a little bigger for myself. So, okay. We'll see the pictures separate. Okay. You see, as we go farther in time, or closer in time, or more recent, you get more pictures. There weren't a lot of pictures in 1776. Here it goes. 1908 Emma Farm Association. Isaac, I don't think they're going to add anything new, but maybe. Isaac and Morris Kaufman, two of the brothers, owned Kaufman's, purchased Harmerville, not Harmony, provide immigrant children and convalescing adults the opportunity to enjoy a stay in the country and escape Pittsburgh's smoky air, right? Not the healthiest air in the time. Named in memory of Isaac Kaufman's Emma Farm, popular facility, Jewish charities. Across the United States, other fresh air camps like Emma Farm were established near cities to provide clean air and sunshine to those living in overcrowded urban neighborhoods. Counselors guided activities, nurses worked to improve the campers' health and well-being. Emma Farm affiliated with Irene's IKS in 1916, moved to Harmony in Butler County in 1922. The Emma Farm camp then merged with the Laurel Y camp of young men, blah, blah, blah. Here, let me help out. I can do it. Don't worry. I've got you. I did it. Okay. Became the merged camps now. Okay. The Emma Farm camp then merged with the Laurel Y camp of the young men, Hebrews YMHA in 1961. The merged camps, now located in Morgantown, West Virginia, became the EKC Emma Kaufman camp of the Jewish Community Center of Greater Pittsburgh. And here's some pictures. Wait, view all images. That's going to pop up. Wait, oh, that's really cool looking. Okay, let me make it a little smaller so I can switch pictures. There we go. You can see that picture. Sidney Tedler, director of the IKS and Boys Farm and Emma Kaufman Camp in 1928. There he is. Look at that building. That is, they didn't put that building up there as fake. That's a really cool looking building. Okay, there's Sidney Tedler, 1928. 1929, a volleyball tournament at the Emma Farm Camp. Okay, next. Photograph four. Oh, these are the four Kaufman brothers, founders. Okay, we've got, let's just point them out since they are kind of important. Top row, left to right. Okay, I think I can remember that. Okay, we'll make them a little bigger. Jacob, Henry, Morris, and then Isaac. So Isaac's on the far right. Okay, and then the wives who become important in names as well. From left to right, Augusta, Teresa, Betty, and Emma. Okay, so Emma and Isaac are the far right for this, the purposes of this one. That picture is about 1890. Okay, here we go. Next picture. I'll make it a little bigger again. Cross-country game, Hunt the Rabbit in 1913. Okay, let's see, Isaac Kaufman. Okay, fine. We met him before. Children arriving at Emma Farm Camp in 1922. Wow, on train. That's pretty cool looking. All right, then pitching horseshoes in the upper playground at Emma Farm Camp in 1912. Okay, members of the Emma Farm Camp visiting the camp. Oh, this is Visitors Day in 1939. Okay, let's see. Let's see. That's before little Harvey's there. Okay, here we go. Okay,
How
next.
you like the men wearing ties and the women in dresses?
Yeah, that's how parents visit the camp. That's how Visitors Day looks like today, right? All right, there it goes. Next, boys work out in the Limcola log cabin in 1923. I love that. Oh, I love the pictures. Okay, 1925, nurse weighing and measuring campers. Okay, love that scale. Okay, 5 more pictures. Upper playground in 1912. Okay, Emma Farm Camp. Okay. Swimming pool in 1912. Look at that slide. Now that's a slide that, is ADA approved. You got splinters. Look at that. They found a way.
Is that wood?
I think it's wood. I think they
Looks
put it's like the blue slide park. That's very cool. All right. Next is boating at the end of 1920. Okay, 2 more pictures. Merry-go-round. Wow, at the 1925. And finally, sharing a lot. Oh, what a great. I think they know how they finished the pictures. Sharing a lollipop at the Emma Farm Camp in 1922. There it is. All right, that's so sweet. Okay, that's a sweet picture. Okay, I want that to be like the Bethel picture. Okay, here we go. Show video panel so I can make sure I see you. You see what I see. Okay, and YMHA. Oh, we're close. We're close to the end of last month. The YMHA. It's a lot of stuff. We're just catching up to the beginning of all of these institutions, since we're seeing we see the end coming eventually too. The YMHA. Okay, Feldman, you're almost done. You have one more chapter, one more section. The YMHA, 1 paragraph. Oh, it's tiny. Okay, here it is. The YMHA. After a call in January 2nd, 1903, the Jewish Criterion newspaper, the YMHA was revived for a 5th time, with Henry Jackson as president. One of its projects was sponsoring an employment office to assist Jews in finding jobs in Pittsburgh. So it's not just a JCC, but the association found too little support and lapsed again in 1905. The great fault with many people is that they desire someone else to build the house. Charles Joseph, the YMHA president, said in December, complained. All right, so wait, you don't need that. He doesn't help. Actually, no. I just read the wrong thing. That's why. I read you the end. Okay, here it goes. It's still short. The Young Men's Hebrew Association, YMHA, of the 19th century had been a club rather than an institution or fixed community center. When disbanded in August 1900, after an existence of a few months, the YMHA adherents asserted something may develop which will put the organization on a strong footing. Its library and gymnastic apparatus were lent, not donated, to the Gusky Orphanage. So we're going to see a rebuilding. Okay, here we go. Let me get to Barbara. She continues writing. Okay. 1 paragraph, but it's long. While major efforts were being made to raise funds for the new Montefiore Hospital, right? Everything's new at this point in the 1920s. It's a new Young Men's Hebrew Association, YMHA, building was going up. The result of another concerted effort raising effort. The building, which cost $1,250,000, 1910, was also in the Oakland section of the city, right? Everything's in Oakland. Remember, Concordia Club. Okay, in the prestigious Civic Center or Shenley Farms area on Belfield Avenue. That's where my psychologist is. Midway between Forbes and Fifth Avenue. Since 1910, prodigious efforts had been made by Harry Appelstein, a young attorney, to establish the YMHA in Pittsburgh. The organization started with 16 young men holding meetings at the Tree of Life Synagogue. And within a month, the fledgling organization had 100 members. There was a need for young men to get together. Membership and activities increased so that by 1920, a building campaign was launched, but it was not until 1924 that ground could be broken for the Y building. A former president of the Y singled out 2 men for their vision and energies in making the building possible. One was Harry Appelstein, who was determined to overcome the obstacles and establish the Y on a grand scale. As it's quoted, it is due to Harry Appelstein more than to any other one man that the YMWHA is now a proud possessor of its magnificent home. Harry Appelstein was an unquestioned genius for leadership and is convincing and earnest. He knows how to fight for his convictions and is never daunted by odds against him. The other person, the former president, acknowledged was Irvin Lehman, who became president of what was known as the Central Board and was the chair of the building campaign. As I quote, Irvin F. Lehman is the type of man that is an inspiration to know. Despite his smile, his friendliness, his charm, he has an iron will, and when taking his stand on ethical principle, cannot be budged. There is a place for him in the hearts of the Y members, such as no other man has enjoyed. So 2 guys really push and they succeed. Let's see some pictures and see what the row has. Okay. You don't see it yet. I know that by now. Row Jewish Archives. There you go. But now you need it bigger. And here we go. Fine. I'll still put your floating video panel just in case something goes terribly wrong. Okay, 1912, the Young Men Hebrews Association. The Young Men Hebrew Association was founded in 1910 by Harry Appelstein, a group of 16 young men for the mental, physical, and moral improvement of its members, and particularly the promotion of Hebraic culture and Jewish ideals. We were assimilating. That's so. What do you do with assimilating Jews? You give them what they want in a Jewish venue, like having bingo at synagogue or poker at synagogue. At about the same time, several young Jewish girls in Pittsburgh organized a similar group for the bettering the welfare of the Jewish women in Pittsburgh, creating the YMHA. YWHA in 1911, so that the group could have the advantages that the YMHA has as its command, namely gymnasium reading rooms. The women asked to share the men's facility located in the Dispatch Building on 5th Avenue in downtown Pittsburgh. In 1912, the 2 groups merged, forming the Young Men and Women's Hebrew Association, known locally as the Y. Nearly 2,000 members by 1920. The Y had outgrown its rented space and embarked on a building campaign in 1921. Money raised from the Jewish community with large donations made by the Kaufman, Seder, and Bear families, all department stores, by the way. We all 3 of those funded a new building, which is dedicated in 1926 at 35 South Belfield Avenue in Pittsburgh's Oakland neighborhood. The Y was open to Jews and non-Jews. Its music, arts, and culture programs enriched the entire Pittsburgh community. The Y Canteen, a snack shop and lounge, opened in 1943 during World War II for service members of all faiths. In 1960, the Y merged with the IKC to form the YIKC and became the Jewish Community Center of Pittsburgh in 1974. Let's get you some pictures. Only 9 pictures. Okay, it'll get smaller and bigger. And what are we looking at there? That would be pornography back then. Okay, here it goes. 1942, the Friends at the Laurel Y Camp in Somerset. The YMWHA began operating this youth camp in 1939, which opened to adult members and their families as a vacation destination, like the Catskills for Pittsburgh, during the month of August. The camp closed in 1960 when the YMWHA merged with the IKC. All right, so there's 1942, Laurel Camp. All right, next. What's our next picture? 1960, members of the Young Men Hebrew Association ice skating. All right, there you go. Harvey, where are you? Are you in that picture? All right, very good. Okay, next. A Boy Scout troop, 1960, meeting at the Young Men's Hebrew Association. There's a Boy Scout troop, all right? Building a bench, it looks like, that I wouldn't sit on. Next, 1953. Okay, members of the Young Men Hebrew Association at the Teenage Open House, 1953. Dancing, boys and girls dancing together. Very nice. Okay, and holding hands. 1960, members of the Young Men's Hebrew Association raising funds for the American Cancer Society. Look at them. Okay. It's the Beatles are coming. Okay, here next. This is the cast of the production of Typhoon, performed by the members of the Young Men Hebrew Association in 1912. All right, so this 1912, a little earlier than most of you, so you're not going to be able to recognize these people. All right, if you recognize someone, let me know. I can go back. Okay, what is this? This is two more pictures after this. The cover of the Jewish Criterion. That's the Jewish newspaper, announcing a membership and fundraising drive for the Women's Hebrew Association, 1935. So this is the 1935 Jewish Criterion. Yeah, so it was they got the front cover, probably paid for the newspaper. All right, next, two more pictures. This is 1967. This is the YIKC, which will be the JCC eventually, championship basketball team, right? So look at those proud look at that jacket and tie. All right, they're visiting the president. All right, YIKC champions in 66-67. You can't tell who's the center. And finally, number 9, we're back at Laurel Y Camp. That's where they found pictures, I guess. 1942. YMHA, okay, and 1939, open adults, members, families, a vacation destination during the month of August. Camp closed in 1960 when it merged with IKC. So there we go. Now we have Emma Farm Camp done. All right, let's move back. We have one more thing of these. I know they're hard to kind of swallow. Too much information. So technically, all right, I'll even show you how close we are. So this is let me get to my video so I can see, shut video, blah, blah, blah. Good.
I'm muted now.
Now you're Abe, you're trying to say, Gerd and Abe, I hear you.
Yeah. Yes, I went to the camp in Somerset.
Oh, did it, Laurel?
In 1942. I went there for 5 years.
Wow.
Did you see that was my camp. Yes. And my daughters went to Emma Farm. I think it must have been the one in Harmony.
Must have been Harmony.
I'm not positive. I have to check with them. But I was the camper in Somerset.
Very cool.
So was I in 1950.
Shirley too.
In 1957.
57.
My eventual husband and I were at Laurel Y. For a teen weekend.
So it was kind of a vacation destination more than a camp?
No, by the time I knew it, it was a camp.
Okay. And what about you, Gerda? Was it a vacation destination like for your family, or was it just you?
It was just me.
Okay. So yeah. That's a very neat. So Laurel is a place that Somerset. Sure. Very cool. It sounds pretty.
Yeah, well, Rabbi, when I was younger.
Yep, Abe.
Probably around 1958, I met a girl at that camp in Harmony.
Don't tell Gerda.
Oh, yeah, that was before Gerda, way before. 58, that's a long time ago.
Yep. All right, you met.
Oh, no, I'm 48, excuse me.
1948,
Yeah, somewhere.
We were married.
You were married, yeah, that's right. Abe, get your timing right. This could be really problematic for you. So 48 is fine. So Gerda, 48 is okay for him?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, but
Rabbi, the wealthier kids went to Laurel Valley.
Okay.
The poor kids went to Harmony to Emma Kaufman camp.
Interesting. So one was a more expensive place.
Yeah, I don't know big money, but
no, it's different back then too. I mean, today you need to mortgage your house to send your kids to camp, and it's like 8 weeks is $8,000 or something. It's crazy now. So very, very good. Okay, we're going to continue because I really want to catch up to last month. This was really where last month ended. Right here with the Hebrew Institute. If you got your papers, you would have seen the end. So the Hebrew Institute, and it's the last time we actually mentioned Feldman. He's done. His book is over. He wrote this book. What's the copyright on this book? This book is Arlene and Fred. Okay. This book was written in 1986, but he stops in 1945, but he really gets pretty after the 1920s. It's done. So this is the last time I'm mentioning Feldman. It's we're going to miss him. Okay. So, and then we're just at Barbara Burston. So, we're getting more modern because she's still writing. Okay. 270. Here we go. The Hebrew Institute. Okay. 1, 2, 3 paragraphs. Oh, because I understand. Okay, so it's about a half a page. Okay, relax. The Hebrew Institute, Jewish religious education generally separated from the settlement house or YMHA. So now we have education moving away from the settlement house. The Jewish, and it's kind of forming the Jewish Community Center. The Jewish community of Pittsburgh had engaged some excellent teachers since its earliest times, and every synagogue had to try to furnish a religious education for children of its members. For many years, the Washington Street Synagogue, with, for example, 450 students and 13 teachers in 1906, had the largest Hebrew school in the city. But the Sunday school at Road of Shalom, after the new temple on Fifth Avenue was occupied, outgrew all its rivals and had 840 students in 1921. 840 students at the Road of Shalom Sunday School. That's a lot. Several defects, however, were hindering Jewish education. What synagogue could handle all this? Our young men and women are not to be blamed for this condition of affairs, for the Jewish education had been sadly neglected by their parents. It's always the parents' fault. Not like you have to work. Okay. Morris Neiman, in vivid articles in the Jewish Criterion newspaper, described what he had repeatedly witnessed in Pittsburgh. He criticized all branches of Judaism. Of the Orthodox, he said, if parents did make sacrifices and sent their children to Cheder or Hebrew school, the system and method in vogue were so inadequate that the child knew little or nothing upon the celebration of his bar mitzvah, when as a rule, his Cheder days are over. So even the Orthodox Cheder was not good enough, right? Neiman followed, last paragraph. The conservative or reformed child, by the reciting of a few passages from the Bible or the preparation of an essay for his confirmation, has studied for this ordeal for weeks or months, and with it caps the climax of his or her Jewish education. What a dark and gloomy future is in store for Judaism in this country. Oh, woe is us. The conservative Reformed Jews leave the education of their children to the rabbi of the congregation, and he, as a rule, is so busy with other matters that he devotes comparatively little time to the children's Jewish education, not neglecting, however, to center all of his energies upon the successful conducting of his annual confirmation exercises. So, yeah, there's a problem. Okay, so what I want to show you that, sorry, Feldman, but I left you on the negative note, but he was showing that there's a problem in Pittsburgh when it came to education. And what I'd like to think is the problem is there's too many kids, that no synagogue, no organization can handle educating that many children. And by the way, it was even a problem in the Orthodox. So let's meet the Hebrew Institute. Okay, here we go. Give me 1 second. We will not stop until we get through the Hebrew Institute. Okay, not that big, so don't worry. You can't see it, but now you will. Can you see what I see? 'Tis the season. Okay, here we go. Make it too big, too small. 1916, the Hebrew Institute. In 1916, the Hebrew Institute of Pittsburgh opened its doors to teach Hebrew, Jewish history, ethics, and literature to immigrant children. Rabbi Aaron Amashinsky, an Orthodox rabbi known for his work in responding to the needs of the city's growing Jewish immigrant population. Okay, let me just help you out there. Give me a second. I am there. Good. Okay. Growing Jewish population, first envisioned the school for Jewish studies and promoted the idea throughout the community. Donations, including a $25,000 gift made by Louis I. Aaron, underwrote the construction of the building. 1916. Okay. First located in the Pittsburgh's Hill District on Wiley Avenue and Green Street. The school later followed the many Jews moving to the neighborhoods in the East End. In 1943, a new building opened on Forbes and Denniston Avenues in Squirrel Hill. The Hebrew Institute closed in 1991, and the building is now the home of the Yeshiva Schools of Pittsburgh Girls and Preschool Campus. Okay, let's give you some pictures, and you can tell me your memories, and then we'll prepare for next month. Look at that car. Okay, here he goes. What does it say on the top? Let me just see. I'll give you that. Beit Sefer Ivri, Hebrew School. So that's doesn't say anything but. Okay, this is 1922. Paul Drindle drives a Hebrew Institute bus. Oh, that's the bus. That's the school bus. Paul, children on board. They are packed in there. I don't know if there's any seats back there. Paul,
No safety belts either.
That's right. Do not
No
flip
seat
over.
belts.
Now, of course, the car can't go over like 5 miles per hour, but it's cobblestone. The Paul
Rabbi,
yes,
Rabbi, that Marcus Aaron you mentioned,
yes,
his granddaughter, I guess, married Sarna. You know, the writer from the
Jonathan Sarna.
Yeah, he's probably not the best known Jewish personality.
Yeah, Jonathan Sarna got me through rabbinical school. It was before the internet, and I used all his books to answer all my questions when I had anything to study. Yeah, so I would say that he got me into rabbinical school and got me out of rabbinical school. So thank God. So good job. Paul Drindle drives a Hebrew Institute bus, carrying, among others, Dr. Solomon Abrams on the left. Okay. Future executive director of the Institute, and his brother, Dr. Ellis Abrams, extreme right. So some of these kids will, come on. Some of these kids will become the executive directors and president of it, but pretty cool. Cool picture. Okay. 7 pictures. Next. 1960, Children of the Hebrew Institute. Okay. Let's say they're making, I don't know. I don't know what they're making. Might be something for Passover. Let's see. Might be Passover-ish. Okay, next. Okay. Teacher reads to kindergarten class at Hebrew Institute, 1955. Okay. Here we go. 1959. What do we have? Sponsored by the Hebrew Institute, Pittsburgh Zionist District. Hebrew at Home was a television show broadcast weekly by WKED during 58-59. Dr. Solomon Abrams here wrote the scripts in 1959. Okay, so you can watch television and learn Hebrew. A series of 10 conversational Hebrew lessons, televised. Pretty cool. Okay, Rabbi Aaron Ashinsky. He's the founder of everything, Sivitz and Ashinsky. Rabbi Aaron Ashinsky and others laying a cornerstone, Hebrew Institute, 1916. Fine. Okay. Cornerstones. They exist. And 2 more pictures. Prayer services at the Hebrew Institute in the Pittsburgh's Hill District in 1922. That's a lot of kids. Look at that. Is that a kid up there too? I don't know. Wearing the hats. Very cool. Okay. And finally, last picture for us today. This is the Hebrew Institute on Wiley Avenue and Green Street in Pittsburgh's Hill District in 1922. A school, but we needed to educate our children. Okay. I am going to go back to my piece of paper for a second. Okay. Sharing. And when we continue next month, we will be done with Jacob Feldman, God bless his soul, and we are just with Barbara, the Row, and anything else I can find. We will do economic collapse in the hard times, 1929. We're getting to the 30s, all right? Not so great for us. Hard times, crash. We've got the Shapira family. We start meaning families, Shapiras, Rudenbergs. So we had organizations, this one. And when is the next class? Don't look at, okay. When's the next class? Sunday, January 17th at 10:30 a.m. Sunday, January 17th at 10:30 a.m. Stop in my share so I can see you. Oh, there are people here. Okay, good. So Sunday, January 7th at 10:30 a.m. No one has an excuse. You could be visiting your kids in Hawaii. You'll just have to wake up at 4 a.m. But everyone can be there. Not like the old days where during the winter times, it was really tough. So that was the question Ed asked, right? When this is all over, is there such thing as a virtual component? I don't see how we can say no to all our snowbirds. So God willing, I'll be a snowbird one day. But not Florida. I'm an Arizona guy. So very nice. I'm not Colorado. I like to visit Colorado. All right. So this is 11:32. Is there more snow coming? I got a thing there is more snow coming. Heidi, when's the snow coming? Wait, unmute. Can you do it?
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. So not a lot. Supposedly we're supposed to see a little snow rain mix today and tomorrow. And then Thursday, Friday, we're supposed to see a little bit of snow, but very cold.
Cold. Wonderful. Stay inside. Stay inside. Has anyone figured out how to get this vaccination thing? Like anyone get a number or anything like that? No. Like we have all these relatives who are doctors and out there. I think Andy Ryback gets his one on Tuesday, but us normal people,
They're saying that the normal people are looking toward spring. Yeah.
That's what UPMC put out.
My daughter-in-law, who is a PA at Forbes in surgery, has gotten her first shot.
You got it. Okay. Oh, that's right. It's 2 shots, isn't it? It's a 2-shot thing.
2 weeks apart.
Yeah. So good luck. Take it easy. I think we'll see each other before our shots start coming in. One day we'll get a number. Like your number will be 10,104. It's like,
I wish I was a nurse or a pharmacist aide right now because they're gonna be hiring like crazy.
Well, it's like taking a number in a bakery. Like it's like you're gonna have to work 1,600,000. So it's very cool. So have a great day. Stay safe. Happy No More Hanukkah. Get ready for Purim. I don't know what Christmas and New Year's looks like, but it looks like a Tuesday. So thank you. God bless you, and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you,
Rabbi.
Thank you.
New Year.
Thank
A
you.
happy and a healthy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year.
Thank you, Shirley. Thank you
next
for your
year.
call, Shirley.